Have you ever looked into a woman's eyes and felt something stir in you that you couldn't explain? Like a quiet storm you couldn't name, a pull that softened your defenses, made you forget the edges you've sharpened over the years? That's not just romance or poetry. It's something much deeper. It's a design. And most men, without knowing it, walk straight into it unprepared. There's a kind of knowledge that most modern men ignore, not because it's false, but because it costs too much to face. Socrates didn't run from that cost. He walked straight into it. And what he found wasn't hatred of women. It was truth. Uncomfortable, complex, real truth about women, and more importantly, about men. He didn't speak from bitterness. He didn't preach with resentment. He warned with clarity. Socrates saw that men are shaped through clarity and discipline, but women, they are shaped in layers. Layers of emotion, instinct, adaptation, and subtlety. And that's not a flaw. It's not weakness. It's power. Power misunderstood by those who look at appearances, not mechanics. The problem is not women. It's the blindness of men. Men who fall for the image, not the intention. Men who chase form, beauty, curves, softness, without ever stopping to ask what that beauty is hiding, or protecting, or demanding. A man who sees only what is in front of him, without asking why it is. There is like a soldier hypnotized by the shine of an enemy's blade, mesmerized and doomed. Socrates didn't give answers. He asked questions. So ask yourself, why does she move in silence when she wants something? Why is her affection sometimes tied to timing, power, or control? Why does her silence carry more meaning than her compliments? And if you're not asking these questions, then what are you doing? You're not seeing. And if you're not seeing, you're vulnerable. Not out of devotion, but delusion. In the Republic, Socrates spoke of the soul ruled by reason, balanced, focused, sovereign. But what about the man who builds his entire world around a woman he doesn't understand? He's not building a kingdom. He's building a shrine to confusion. He's making an altar out of his own uncertainty. How many men today wear the suit of wisdom, speak of discipline, act like leaders, but are, deep down, just desperate for female approval? They build their lives, their careers, their identities, not for purpose, but for her validation. And when the moment comes, when she tests that foundation and finds cracks in it, she leaves, and they fall apart. Not because she's cruel, but because they never built themselves. They built their identity around someone else's presence. Socrates wasn't warning you about her. He was warning you about you. When you don't know her nature, when you treat her as savior or enemy, you fail the test. She's not here to complete you. She's not your reward for being good. She is the mirror that shows you what you still don't see in yourself. Nature made her responsive, selective, intuitive. She adapts. She doesn't carry the burden of building you. That's your task. That's your mission. That's your test. She is the wind. You are the sail. But if you don't know how to hold your line, how to adjust your direction, she will toss you in every direction, and she won't feel guilty for it. Not because she's heartless, but because she's wired for survival. And when she sees you don't even know your own blueprint, she knows she can't rely on you. Not as a man, not as a leader, not even as a partner. Socrates believed that the soul is made of 3 parts: reason, spirit, and appetite. And the highest version of man is the one who lets reason lead. But when appetite takes control, when lust, approval-seeking, and emotional neediness run the show, the man dissolves. He doesn't lead anymore. He chases. He begs. He conforms. And you've seen it. You've seen the guy who loses his mind when she doesn't text back. The one who molds his entire day around her mood. The one who would throw his values in the trash just to keep her smiling. That man isn't in love. He's in bondage. Socrates lived among men who thought power meant wealth, popularity, status. But he knew better. He understood that true power lives in the man who cannot be deceived, especially by what he craves. And nothing deceives a man faster than the thing he loves without understanding. The woman. That's where most men fall. Not because women are manipulators, but because men refuse to study. They chase what feels good and skip the work of understanding why they want it in the first place. That's the danger. That's the trap. She doesn't destroy you. Your unexamined desire does. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But what about the unexamined obsession? The unexamined craving for her affection? That, my brother, is a deeper form of madness. One that looks like love, but isn't. one that acts like devotion but is really dependency in disguise. In Phaedrus, he spoke about love that isn't governed by reason. He called it a kind of madness. It's divine, yes, but still madness. When a man lets lust steer his life, he turns into something wingless, crawling in circles, obsessed with one source of pleasure. How many men live like that today? How many of them have sacrificed their values, their path, their peace, just to keep her close? You're not here to be consumed by the feminine. You're here to comprehend it. Socrates didn't blame women. He studied them. He observed their alignment, not always with truth, but with safety. That's not an insult. It's a strategy. It's how nature made her. She doesn't seek righteousness. She seeks refuge. She reads strength. She senses leadership. She tests boundaries. So if you give her the crown before you've earned your own, if you place her above your mission, she will test you, and you will fall. And when you fall, she doesn't catch you. Not because she's cruel, but because you proved you were never worthy of leading. That's what Socrates was getting at. You want her respect? You want her devotion? You want her love? Then stop handing over your soul, hoping she'll cherish it. Earn your place through clarity, through grounded purpose, through your ability to walk alone if you must, whole, intact, and unshaken. Because once she senses that your identity is built on her reaction, she no longer sees you as fire. You become a flickering candle, fragile and forgettable. But if you hold your line, if you stay calm through her storms, if you continue walking your path regardless of her approval, then something changes. She feels it. She may not be able to explain it, but she feels it. That gravity, that calm, that clarity. It pulls her in, not by force, but by law. And when she orbits you, not because you begged, but because your presence demands it, that's when you understand what Socrates meant by sovereignty. Most men today collapse not from failure, but from confusion. They know how she feels, but they have no idea who they are. They memorize the lines she likes, but forget the principles they once believed. They call it love, but really it's submission dressed up in perfume. She doesn't want a puppet. She wants presence. She wants truth. She wants a man who speaks less and stands more. She wants you rooted, not reactive. In Symposium, Socrates speaks of Diotima, a woman who taught him that love in its highest form isn't about the body. It's not about passion or possession. It's a ladder. And most men never climb. They stay on the first rung, the physical. They get stuck in desire and forget what desire is supposed to lead them to. The beautiful, the wise, the eternal. Most men rot there, rot in obsession, confusion, endless pursuit of validation. But you don't have to. You can climb, you can rise. She's not the destination. She's the invitation. She is not the reward. She is the signal, the start of the work. She is not meant to complete you. She is not designed to carry you. She's not here to heal what you haven't faced. She's the test, the mirror, the tide. And you are the mast. You are the anchor. You are the sail. If you let her become your compass, you will drift. But if you remain grounded in your values, your vision, your reason, she will respect you. Not out of fear, out of alignment. You don't need to overpower her. You need to outgrow the need for her to define you. Let her be soft. Let her be wild. Let her be woman. But you be man. Socratically, measured, steady. Still when tested. Unshaken when rejected. Clear when charmed. Your dignity is not found in her arms. It is forged in the quiet nights you stand alone, the mornings you choose discipline over distraction, the days you build without applause. This is where Socrates would point you, not toward her love, but toward your soul. A man who depends on her warmth to feel alive has no fire of his own. A man who bends himself to avoid her displeasure has already broken, and when he breaks, she will not repair him. Not because she's cold, but because even she is looking for a man who does not need her to be whole. She is not your therapist, not your purpose, not your savior. She is not the mirror that tells you whether you matter. You want her to see you, then stand where men rarely stand, in solitude, in strength, in silent certainty. Stand without needing to be seen at all. Socrates said, "The shortest and surest way to live with honor is to be what we appear to be." Every man wants to appear strong, wise, grounded, desirable. But very few do what it takes to truly become that. So, Stop chasing her attention. Build presence. Stop chasing her body. Master your appetites. Stop chasing her love. Live your truth and let her respond as she will. That is the examined life. That is manhood. Because the moment she tests you, pulls back, withdraws, withholds, and you fall apart, that is when you show her that your throne was built on sand. But if you stand in that moment, calm, clear, unbothered, you don't just earn her respect. You earn your own. She is not your enemy, she is your echo. She reflects your depth or your desperation. Do not rage at her nature. Study it, respect it, but don't submit to it. She is wind. You are structure. And structure does not rage at wind. It uses it. That is your role. That is your order. That is your edge. This world will teach you to beg for her love, to adapt to her moods, to chase her smile. But Socrates would remind you of a higher law. Do not bend unless bending is your choice. Because if you fold once to win her favor, you will keep folding until you disappear. There is no love without integrity, no trust without clarity, no respect without truth. So ask yourself, what kind of man does she follow? It's not the richest, not the loudest, not the smoothest. It's the man who can walk away and still be whole. When she feels you could leave and still remain who you are, that you don't shrink when she pulls away, that you don't beg when she tests you, that your light does not dim when hers is absent. That's when she knows you are not a flicker. You are flame. This is not cruelty. It's clarity. And clarity is rare in a world of noise. Socrates lived in a time of noise, of spectacle, of shallow men pretending to be wise. He saw through it, and he chose silence over compromise. He chose death over dishonor. He chose truth over comfort. So, what is truth for the modern man? It's this. She is not your war. She is your test. And if you pass, she becomes your forge. If you fail, she becomes your fire. Don't ask her to change. Become wise enough to navigate her complexity. Don't beg her to stay. Become the kind of man she doesn't want to leave. Don't look to her for healing. Heal yourself until your pain becomes power. In the end, Socrates gave no commands, just questions. Questions that cut through illusion, that wake the soul, that strip away every mask you wear. If you dare to walk that path, you will lose many things. Your fantasies, your excuses, your approval addictions. But you will gain everything. You will gain calm. You will gain clarity. You will gain control, not over her, but over yourself. And when you've mastered yourself, you've already conquered the world. They will call you cold. They will say you're distant, too firm, too logical. Let them. Because the world fears the man who cannot be bent, who does not sell himself for a kiss, who does not betray his values for attention, who stands, not because standing is easy, but because falling is no longer an option. Be that man. Let others see you and remember what a man is. Let them feel your presence and remember their own. Let your stillness wake up something ancient in those around you. To the man listening in silence, hearing this and feeling something shift, this is your time. Rise, without rage, without apology, without fear, not against her, but for yourself. If these words have spoken to you, share them. Not to boost this channel, but to echo truth. Like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, live it. Let this video be the start of your return, not to control, but to clarity, not to ego, but to essence. The world doesn't need louder men, it needs clearer ones. Be that man.